All good, man. Yeah.
Can I get a mic? Can I get a mic stand?
I think we do it with a PJ Duncan there. Yeah. The bogus Yorkshire Ripper was a man from Sunderland.
Really?
And he's the one that distracted the police for the whole case.
Really?
Because you not heard the tapes and that? You must have heard the tapes.
No.
The Yorkshire Ripper.
Yorkshire Ripper.
And the whole link with Sunderland.
Peter Sutton.
There was something. I thought it was Whitley Beer or something like
And
that.
the police
wasn't
to
there?
him go, "You are no longer going to find me. You're no closer than you were 3 weeks ago."
Oh, is that
traced the
the
accent to Sunderland?
Yeah.
Was
And
it?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
An old colleague of mine.
So it wasn't actually him putting the accent on?
No, it was
Right.
a person. And so it caused this huge distraction. And a girl that I used to work with, her husband got arrested.
Actually,
Shit,
can I-
no
But
way.
do you know why? Because the Yorkshire Ripper, he was at Leeds, this guy, the husband of a friend of mine, he was at Leeds University.
Right.
And he was coming back from Leeds to Sunderland, back and
Nice.
forward all the time. They're like, that's him.
That's got to be it.
It's got to be the Yorkshire Ripper.
We got the Ripper.
Is that how it told me? But it's that, isn't it?
Catch the Ripper, catch the Ripper.
But yeah, it's one of those things that everyone, especially back then, you could hear that voice, and it's a recognisable voice, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, is that how it told me? Have you heard that?
Yeah.
But then the rumour will start. It's not now where they'll just go, that's so-and-so because they didn't like him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
They just want to
yeah.
kind of pin it on you. But back then, it was like a thing because they'll go, because it's almost like, he's famous now. I heard him on the, did you hear that voice? Yeah. That's quite unique. I'm sure that's how it told me. You know? But it would have been that, wouldn't it? And then they're on the phone. Do the rings. Dial it round. Dial it round.
You had to be patient, like,
Hey,
didn't you?
Sandra, have you heard?
You had Tommy on the radio.
I've heard. I'm sure that's how it told me. It's a good way to kick off a podcast, though,
Aye.
isn't it? Now,
On this side.
It's Yorkshire Ripper, so yeah.
Yeah.
How's things anyway? Because
It's awesome.
I must admit, I think the last time I saw you was only 2 weeks ago. I think we
Yeah.
hugged twice in one day. Was that
Yeah,
right?
it's good.
Yeah, it was a good man hug because I always
Okay.
get wrong for
Hug it out,
was a
man.
good
not
hug, I
showing
like.
not showing affection too much, but I got 2 hugs off me. I was
Honestly,
quite happy. You know,
we've been
made us
talking about
feel
having-
good. Yeah,
I can't tell when Dan's happy, so I've got to try and hug him and sort of
I've got
pull it
a.
out of him.
It's the rest and be face, so I've got a kind of.
The bulldog chewing a wasp face.
So I'm trying to edit myself saying the B word, so yeah, rest and be face, but I'll smile like this all the time. Does that'll be in a Yorkshire Ripper stage.
It's like a toxic relationship. I go, Dan, are you happy with that? Are you happy?
Are you happy with
sure?
it?
Are you
Yeah,
happy?
it's because I'm thinking about 50 different things all the time,
Yeah,
you
it
know, because
happens,
you're
mate.
behind
What you gonna-
camera.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of, you're always thinking about that camera. Is that on? Am I too close to this mic? Is that water filled? Is Neil okay? Is his coffee hot? Is there?
Shit, is that all you got to think about?
Chris' microphone.
What I'm
needs
thinking
space.
about here, while I'm sat here, and will be all the time, is I've got, when I get home, I'm starting off the ferment for tomorrow. Then I'm getting out the strawberries and stuff to defrost, to do this. The Let Me Be Your Fantasy sauce. Then I've got all the stuff. Then I'm this and that. Plus, I'm doing the podcast. I've got to do a reference for somebody. It's not really much, is it? Like just following. But I used to stock his shop.
Yeah.
And he's been working for. He's been working for a.
He's been working for you.
He's been walking for
Yeah, just
years. For
First
company what does like fucking what's it called, you know.
You've got it down. That's perfect. Yeah. There's always five extra words in the conversation that don't need to be there.
Yeah,
Because that's the
definitely.
like at the end
Mainly
of everything.
expletives.
Did
Yeah.
you say I thought you said ferment tomorrow. You said tomorrow,
Fermentation.
didn't you?
Yeah, for
Tomorrow.
the
as in your
tomorrow
hot
sauce. Yeah.
Not As in fermenting tomorrow.
No,
Oh,
it will
right,
be
so-
starting tomorrow, and it will hurt you tomorrow once it's in the bottle.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what? So
Brutal sauce.
So let me be your fantasy is one of your sources.
Yeah, I grow
Explain.
ají fantasy chilies. So there's a couple of ajís. Well, there's a few actually, and they are all from Peru. Are we actually on?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
That's
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
We'll
So
just bleep you
they're
out later,
Peruvian.
sorry.
They're Peruvian. So the AJI is
Yeah.
ají, and then I grow ají limons, which are on here, on my branding,
Yeah.
the yellow one, and ají fantasy. So I was like, they're a really nice chili. They're very fruity. I'm going to make a sauce called Let Me Be Your Fantasy.
90s dance classic.
Exactly.
But it is, because that's what you think about.
Yeah.
But that's it. You think about that. It's association.
Yeah,
with
Exactly.
sound,
But I was
isn't
like,
it?
right, okay, so it's 10 days till
Association with
Valentine's Day.
sound.
Let's see if the first year I did it. Let's see if I can get this product out in time.
Mm.
So I made a first test litre, and it was quite pink because of strawberries and cherries. And so I was like, right, okay, what I need is, and it's quite light chili, the Ahi Fantasy. So I was like, right, I need to get some red pigment out of some chili. So I put some red jalapenos in because I know that the pigment comes out and keeps the dye. It comes out the skin, same as when you're cooking normal peppers. And so so it stays nice and dark pink. Not red, but it stays dark pink. It keeps that colour for longer.
Nice colour though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's lush.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's see if we can find some Love Heart bottles.
Yes.
Found some.
Cool.
Pound each, cost quite expensive, but then you can turn it into a candle afterwards because it's got a nice wide neck. Yeah, loads of people do that. It's quite cool.
The level of marketing nowadays are flying off the shelf. Hey,
cool.
This is great. I love this.
I love it. I'm always chimping, mate. Never not chimping.
Yeah.
That's what somebody used to keep. Like, every time I was playing pool last night in the Kit's Pool Club in Durham. Kit's Pool and Bar. It's really, really cool. And I sponsor. Yeah, so I sponsor the pool league. Well, the pool league. Okay. So that you got on the live feeds, you've got Heineken, Screaming Chimp, a couple of a pool maker over in Johnny Carr over in Bertley. So it's nice having our sort of logos on the live stream whenever they do money matches, and they got big tournaments there and stuff like that.
Oh, proper pool.
Yeah.
Right. So just knocking the balls around in the pub, no?
No. Well, last night I did a race to 18 and won 18-8. So it was good 10
What
frame.
does that mean?
Nothing. It was just a knockout. It was practice, really, because there's a thing coming up called Lola's, and it's essentially it's £20 a head. You all your numbers get a number. You get drawn out. You could win. You could lose. The winner of that tournament then goes on to Glasgow or Edinburgh to win 40 grand.
That's pretty.
Yeah, so clubs. Yeah. So they have 30 grand matches there. 30 grand money matches where people put up money and stuff like that. 2 grand and stuff like that. I
was talking to your boy
a
couple of weeks ago just about pool because I remember we grew up with a pool table, snooker table in the back end. Half a queue, all that kind of stuff. And what
do you mean in your pub or your house?
No, in the house.
Oh, cool.
In the back end of the house. So, and that's all we did. Saturday night, you watch Pod Black, you go in, you play pool and snooker. Saturday, Sunday, every single day, you played with your dad, and then that's how we ended up with a half queue, because he lost his temper because he lost. He snapped it out. So we chopped that down, and that was the little kind of against the wall, because there's no room. But we spent our days just playing pool and snooker. Then the snooker hall down in Horton, which used to be the old cinema. And then we used to be there.
Big deal, weren't they?
Yeah, they were big back then.
The pub at the end of the college, do you know what I mean? Everything had a pool table and snooker table, but I grew up playing pool and snooker.
Yeah, same here. I ended up with a load of a collection. Well, after I moved up here, ended up with like a collection of 22 cues, with some of which I gave to the local pub. Because I was like, I don't need these. What am I doing with all these?
Yeah.
I spent 500 or 600 quid on one from somewhere over Ukraine or something like that about 9 years ago. Had it made. It had an English snooker shaft and a 9-ball shaft, but I made it like 22 ounces. It's ridiculously heavy. It's like it's on. Like I was like, I'll be able to break nice and easy with this. Yeah, can you play the rest of the game with it though, Neil? So that's in my pool rack. So that's in my on my wall in
Neil's
the office.
Got a carpal tunnel by the time.
It's like, what the hell are you doing with this? Like wait queue. I've got some people like so. I did sponsor a guy called Dan Foster for a while. At 9-ball, but and he tried it, and he's like, "This is what are you doing with this, man? So you can't do anything with this." I'm like, "No, I can break. It's a really good break cue." So that's all already. If I'm ever going to use it, that's all I'm really going to use
Just
it for.
Break and then
cue.
Get to
I
the
don't have to put
queue.
as much effort in, and then I'll get my. Because Johnny over in who's one of the sponsors, he loves my sauces. So I took that cue to be retipped, and another of my cues to be retipped and have a new ferrule on it. He's like, "You make chili sauces then?" Yeah. So I gave him some as payment, like just to. Well, it wasn't as payment. It turned out to be as payment. It didn't charge me. It didn't charge me. Yeah. It ended up not charging me. They said when I took one of my the Dan when I got him to go and have his tip done and his on a queue, he said, I really liked your sauces. He said, my mates really love them. They love all of your stuff, your mayonnaise, your nuts, all that stuff. If you do me a hamper, I'll make you a queue. If you do me a hamper for Christmas, I'll make you a queue. So what kind of queue do you like? I'm like, well, you remember last time I was here, I liked this one here, yours. I just want that black ebony and just nice maple, one piece, 8mm tip, lush. He said, right, I'll make you one. £350 queue.
Wow.
Nice.
I'm having like a real moment of imposter syndrome.
I love it.
Because I'm like, get a stick and hit the ball.
Well, I mean,
Because I'm terrible. I'm terrible.
I mean, I'm not very
all I
good. When
am,
you compare me to the other players in there,
not better
like
than
there's
stuff,
oh
yeah.
man, there's some awesome. Gav Hills is amazing. He's an ex-snooker player. I mean, Dan himself, he coached with what's his name, Gary Wilson for 10 years. He was coached with Gary at snooker, and then he switched to a 9-ball, and now he switched to 8-ball. So I bought him a £150 cue off of this dude who was like, I can't really sell it. It doesn't look like it rolls straight, but it's perfectly straight.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he knocked a couple of £100 off, and I was like, Dan, go and have a play with this and see what you think. Like, yeah, okay, there you go, mate. You can have a cue. It's part of the sponsorship, like, really.
I don't know. I like,
Yeah,
I just
it's
like the
cool.
exchange
So, but
of
he's
Chili
not-
sauce bartering. I like that.
Yeah. It's good, isn't it? I love it. Well, that's it. I mean, last night when I was in there, this Spanish lady came up. Well, she's been a champion for years. She goes, you've got to be. Are you Screaming Chimp Man? I'm like, yeah. She goes, I knew it. It's like, you didn't look like you knew it. She's like, I was like, there's nobody else with hair like me, let's face it. It's not the 1980s anymore, is it? You know, not that it's permed or anything, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, you and Mick Hucknall. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then this other chef dude, and then some other people from Fabio. So like, oh yeah, Chimpy's here. Yeah. So
Is that what you get called now? Like nickname Chimpy?
it was actually Sarah from Hogs and Chicks. You know, Sarah and Stewie. She started calling me Chimpy, but Mr. and Mrs. Chimp, that thing came from Martin and June, the goat company.
Yeah,
yeah.
June before.
So they when we first started, we were at the Stays in Dunstan, and they were just talking to us about what we should do, and I saw them again at about 3 weeks later at Anik at market, and she said, "Oh, your market." What is it? Your market parents rear or something like that. Don't worry, we'll look after you. It's fine. So we've just been friends ever since, and like, I always rib her about going to McDonald's, but hey, people love McDonald's, don't they?
June goes to McDonald's.
Yeah, she loves it.
Does she?
Hey, it doesn't matter. She loves it. People like what they like. You know, it doesn't matter how much you tell people or say to people, you know, I'm never going to, like, yeah. People like what they like, don't
I
they?
love that.
But it's the same with my sauces. It's the same with anything.
Yeah.
Like you either like what you taste or you don't.
Yeah.
Like some people don't like the fact they've got Demerara sugar in. They want salty things.
Yeah.
They want vinegary things. They want this and that. And I'm like, well, I'll make you a litre if you want £30.
Yeah.
I'll make whatever you like. That's what I do bespoke for people. Like with Racing Distillery recently.
Yes. Yeah.
He's called it Caribbean Heat. Gave me a rum last February. Said I want you to this is rum that I store in whiskey barrels. Cool. So have a little play with it, see if you can make me a sauce. So I played with it, and it was gone. Oh, bollocks. Dan, you got any more of that rum? He's like, yeah, I'll sort you out another bottle. It's all right. He says, I can tell you like it. So drink this one, and I'll give you another one so you can play with. So that was 3. So I made him this sauce. So then he's like, I need that. He said, this is like the trials before I had the labels. He said, all my Caribbean mates, everybody in the racing game, you know, because he's got a racing team. That's what's called Racing Distillery. It was Racing Rum, but now it's Racing Distillery. And he wants my branding all over his racing cars as well. And, you know, so, yeah, it'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Is that your whole story with Chimp, right?
Yeah.
It's come from people asking you to make a chili sauce.
Well, it's from Emily. It's from my sister. Just from Emily. Like, let's face it, if it wasn't for me, wanted to kill myself 10 years ago, my friend giving me some chili seedlings to help with depression, my sister asking me to make a Man vs Food Challenge sauce for university for this chicken wing eating thing she was doing, me taking some out to my friends because they said, oh yeah, you know, we know you haven't been working. Come out, spend a weekend with us. We paid for your flights because we've been talking to Vic. We know you haven't been working, so we paid for your flights. So come out and stay with us. But make sure you bring some of that sauce because Keith used to run a Mexican restaurant in Milton Keynes when he lived in the UK. And so he was just, and he grew chilies himself, nagas and loads of other different habaneros and stuff like that. So I said, bring some of that sauce out when you come. And I was like, all right, I'll bring you a little jar. I've got some left. So I took him a jar out, and he's like, mate, this is good. Can't call it mouthfucker though. If you're gonna sell it, I was like, well, I wasn't gonna sell it. I only made it for Emily.
Alice, flag it up.
I told you, it had to come out. It had to come out.
You wait till I get to my.
You've already said.
Nice and warm and salty.
True story.
Yeah, you already mentioned nuts and mayonnaise in the same sentence, so I'm like,
yeah. Well, actually, Matt Bailey from the BBC Radio Newcastle. So he had I did an interview with him. He came to the house. I made him a sauce, and then he came back. He came to the market. On Saturday.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, him and his wife, and she said, "Yeah, he is nuts." Same as I did. Same as Psyche. Yeah, he is nuts, isn't he? But yeah, they came back, and they were saying, "Oh, my mates, everybody loved your products when we had them because I gave them some sauces to take home and take to the studio." And he just said, "Yeah, everybody's like taking stuff home, so we've got none of your nuts left." I'm like, funnily enough, I've actually been saving 2 bags for these guys that usually only come and buy 2 large bags of nuts. So they haven't turned up, but it's right near the end of the day. Do you want a bag? Yeah, no, but we're not. We buy them. Yeah, well, I'll just charge you whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's you. You did a cool. And the interview was really good. It was only ended up 6 minutes long, out of an hour. And it was cool having him come back as a customer now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And did he know? Or was it like?
Yeah, he knew.
Happenstance?
No, he knew he was there. He bought his wife to meet me, and then obviously ended up buying some nuts because I had some left. But that was pretty cool. Like, it's nice being recognised. I forgot. Do you know what? On the way here, I was thinking, shall I bring the award? It's too late. I'm not going back for it. Yeah, I'm not going back for it. I'll be late. But it would have been just cool to have the 22 karat gold condiment brand of the year, multiple award winner.
Yeah. 2
years running for the whole of the north of England. So that was quite nice getting that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know much about the Prestige Series Awards, other than they go worldwide giving out awards to lots of different places, lots of different companies all over the globe. And so, yeah, it's nice to have been.
It's well deserved, man.
Yeah. Well, the first year I got it, I was like, I don't really know who you guys are. Never heard of this award thing before. Do I have to pay for this? Like, no. We've been following you for a while. We see
10 years' time.
yeah. Well, if I win next time, it'll be platinum.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Great Taste Awards have just opened today, to put in your applications and stuff like that to see. It's just choosing what to put in next.
You've got Great Taste Awards, haven't
you? Yeah, I got one for mango and papaya, stinger, chipotle or chimpotle. That was in 2021. That was the only product I entered then. And then I entered the chili oil in 2022. That was the last time I remembered. I keep on forgetting. Like you
do with Lovesome.
Yeah, the collaboration oil. Yeah. So, that oil came around because I made my first sort of 10 or 12 batches with Philippa Berry olive oil that I just used to buy at Costco. And then I saw Ollie at a thing that Georgia Spottiswood was doing.
Chester Eats.
No, it was at some posh hotel.
Rockcliffe. Was it
That's
Rockcliffe?
It, Rockcliffe Hall, yeah. And I saw Ollie there. I was like, do you know what? We should really do a collab. Have you ever thought about doing a chili oil or anything like that? He's like, well, we were thinking about it. About 2 years later, I actually got to him and said, look, we were at Sedgefield Farmers Market. And I'm like, right, I've had a bottle of yours oil for ages. So I've given you a bottle of the Philippa Berry olive oil, the normal recipe. And then I've done the same thing with yours, just as a different oil. Let us know what you think of yours. And then next month they came back and like, oh my God, we've been using that for everything. Doing the eggs, mate. We even made bread rolls with it. We did everything like you said. Like we've been trying so many chili oils, but yours is the best we've tried. So how much can we supply you with? So it's just like that's the thing. I'm never money focused. I can't really. It's weird being a man and not being money focused, but I'm not really. I'm product focused.
Yeah, but that shines through though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I've always
hopefully.
Said I try products all the time, and you get the kind of heat for heat's sake chili sauces that are just all about kind of misogyny, like come on, just try it.
Yeah.
Handle it,
And don't get me wrong, the
They have their place.
You give me, I can't remember when it was, a few months ago,
Monkey Line.
on Armstrong Bridge.
Or Howler.
Howler.
And
that had me for an hour.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was Howler, yeah.
Flavour. I've always said to you, the flavour always cuts through.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's it. And the other thing is, I think even the hotter things that I make, when you put them into things like curries and chili con carne and other things that you're heating, if you want to have like a, if you do like a casserole or something like that, but you want a chili version of it, and you put my sauce in there, as you cook, the freshness of the chilies, like mine's the chili component.
Yeah.
If you can't find super hot pods at the start of the year, you buy my hot sauces at the back end of the year, keep them in the fridge, you've got your chilies to put in, because I do the hard work so you don't have to.
Yeah.
And I've engineered them all really, so they can all play together. So whether you put the pineapple and the mayonnaise together, the pineapple, the mayonnaise, and the chipotle is like I call my chicken burger triple.
Yeah.
Because those three products go well together. So you've got three standing alone, but then you've got pineapple and mayonnaise that go together, chipotle and pineapple that go together, chipotle and mayonnaise go together, and then all three go together. So out of those three, you actually can make 7 different products. And in fact, you can make more because in different iterations, you can in different sample sizes, you can put like half and half, 50-50, a third. You can do whatever you like. They all play together.
How do you get to that conclusion, Neil? It's
playing.
They're just by messing around.
Well, listen.
It's completely blew me, mate.
When your parents told you stop playing with your food, I don't listen to my parents. I play with my food.
Yeah, but that's
I have a little play, and that's what I say to people.
Yeah.
You don't listen to your parents. That was when you were a kid. Have fun, play with your food, and keep on chimping.
Yeah, but that's the thing. People buy one for one thing, but you go, no. I've never heard of that before.
Well, that's the thing. I started a lot of things in the chili industry. A lot of people don't even know where they got it.
Just for curiosity, really. Yeah.
No, what do you mean?
Just by you going, actually, that needs a little something. Oh, what happens if I put that with that? That's better for this. That's
well,
better
put it
for
this
that.
way. I used to have people calling me right at the very start when I first started doing Mild to Wild. Well, it was actually me and Nick Fairley and Earl really that came up with the Mild to Wild thing. Yeah. And
Bernie Bum.
Yeah, Bernie Bum. Yeah. We started putting it on social medias. Nick did it first. Earl did it. I did it. Because we were all friends. It kind of just, and it was only like a month or so between, like the start of it, and then now everybody puts it all over their websites. Wiltshire's got it all over theirs. Like other people, Adam, Mr. Vicky's, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Everybody uses it worldwide now, and it's the same sort of thing. Like now, when people come to market, the majority of people when they come to market with new sauces, they come with 7 sauces. So I started that. Like it was only because I think when I started, there was Wiltshire Chili Farm. There was a few others. There weren't really many. Tabasco had been around 150 years or whatever. But nobody was doing really, like mild. I mean, like I had other producers, a couple of which I mentioned, ringing me. What's this mild to wild thing you're doing? What do you mean? Well, why are you doing mild chili sauces? Because not everybody likes. Have you not noticed that people like sweet chili dipping sauce? Yeah. I don't want to do a sweet chili dipping sauce because it's mainly starch and sugar with a tiny, tiny little bit of chili. And that's not my MO at all. I don't, so my sweet chili dipping sauces are the pineapple and the mango and papaya because they're all food, whereas I don't like to do things like the sweet chili dipping sauce type things. But yeah, like I've had a few people over the years saying, we used to use this blue, this other stuff anyway, this stir fry sauce and this other thing, their sweet chili dipping sauce. And it's like, I notice my gut's not good afterwards. I don't get that with yours. That's why I don't put any weird stuff in my products. So I'm like, well, I don't really want people to have to do mental gymnastics around all this other crap that bulking agents, starches, gum, all that other crap, MSG and stuff, which, I mean, I know people, it's just a single salt. No, it's not. Well, it is in its natural form, but you're adding something to it. It's like what's happened with flour over the years. It's like it's all stripped out, and then you put all this crap back in it. It's no wonder people's gut health is bad.
Because the gluten and stuff.
Terrible. So
pasta
that's
as well. Pasta's the same, isn't it?
Yeah.
Italian pasta, you don't get any problems with it.
No, well, egg pasta, proper egg pasta. You're not really. It's not a problem. Plus, it don't use up so much gas or electric. I mean, let's face it. 10 minutes to boil your water, 15 minutes to boil a bit of Durham meat. It's like, what? Yeah. Just make yourself some egg pasta. It takes 2 seconds. Yeah.
Because when I saw you a few weeks ago, you were at the stall, and a couple of the lads they'd sold out the pie and mash, and they came in straight to your stall and they were trying the pineapple.
Oh, was that proper?
Yeah, proper. The guys are proper. So
yeah.
all the chefs came in, boom, straight to your store.
Yeah. I know.
I just want to come in. We're on a break. I want to try your.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was quite cool. We're all standing there, and the chef gave. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At your store,
Well, they took loads of stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's it.
I don't know what's going to happen there.
Yeah. But it must be testament to that. You've done a good thing because you clearly people. It doesn't matter who it is. The regular guy or the chef, they come straight to you, you know, for your sauces.
I mean, there's Hotel Indigo in Durham. They use the mayo, the original Screamer, and pineapple sauce. And then you've got pizza companies. I've just had another lady who's Jo, who's doing pizzas. She wants
Joe Gordon.
Yeah, she wants to. She got in contact just before Christmas. So we have and Anna from Flip and Fast. She uses the sauces for vegan crepes and stuff like that because they're vegan friendly as well. The only thing it's not is the mayonnaise. But if it hasn't got egg in it, it's not mayonnaise. It's a crappy fat spread.
Next brand coming your way.
Yeah, next brand coming your way. Yeah, people say to me, "Can't you do a cheaper product?" I could also punch myself in the face repeatedly, but I'm not going to.
End of sentence, but that's the thing. It's you had those chefs, and then next to them was a guy who came and go, I'm a big fan of this. And then you were just chatting to him going, have you tried this one? No, actually. And then you just kind of brought him in and he was trying something new. He was a fan and he wanted to kind of try something else. And then next to him, you've got these chefs. It's kind of everybody was just straight there because of what your product is. And, you know, did you ever think it would get to that? Like, cooking it up in your kitchen to get to that point.
The first product that I made was the mouthfucker thing. So that I didn't ever think that was going to, I didn't ever think that was going to get anywhere because I literally only made it for Emily. But because the only reason that so the MF was first. We went out to Spain. My friend liked the sauce. And he says, you've got to come up with a new name. He says, you can't call it MF if you're going to sell it. And he says, it's too hot. It's like I'm like, mate, it was made for a Man vs Food thing, mate. So that's, he said, yeah, so scale it back and come up with a new name. He said, I would have had that in my restaurant when, if it wasn't so hot. And so overnight we were thinking, well, Vic's short and I'm quite curly. No, nobody wants short and curlies already, didn't it? Because I was thinking like literally, obviously call it short and curlies, but like have a picture of us on there so they understood why it was called that, not literally. So it's not the word from the 90s with pube crackers or whatever. Do you remember? Oh my god,
I've got a picture of my head now.
Yeah, well, I used to do that. It was something that wants to be famous. I'd do anything to be famous or whatever like that. Somebody would wash a fat, sweaty dude and then like have the flour in their mouth. And that
it used to be on the word, they used to lick an armpit and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. So obviously nobody wants to cut. So like literally the next morning we were out on a walk. We went to the beach. Just like we were talking about my situation and what we were doing. And also talking about the sauce. And on the way back up from the beach to the car, I was just I put a blade of grass in between my thumbs and I was showing his kids how to do that. I was like, look, kids, here, have you ever done this before? Like that noise. It's like, look, this one's got a hole in it. Wonder what noise that's going to make. And he just went, sounds like a screaming chimp. Whoa. And me and Keith just looked at each other, turned around, high-fived. That's what I'm going to call that sauce the screaming chimp. And that's where that name came from. And then literally 2 hours later, we sat in a Brazilian restaurant. It was like, let's go celebrate. Because I was instantly, as soon as coming out, I was screaming chimp. I was like, I can see that on surfboard decals, car bumper stickers. I can see that on T-shirts, sweatshirts, all that sort of stuff. Mugs, which we got as well. And
Holsters.
Holster. Well, I didn't know about that. Well, the holster thing came later on. And so literally, at the end of your meal at the Brazilian, they bring out pineapple. And I said, what are you bringing out pineapple for? What's the point in this? I've had this in Birmingham at a Brazilian restaurant. Well, it's got enzymes in it which breaks down proteins. It's very good at aiding the digestion. So all that meat you've just eaten, all that stuff you've just eaten, once it's in your belly, it'll help to break it down and you pull out the nutrients better. It's a lot better for, get the nutrients out of the meat. And then you get proper wastage. Au
naturel.
Au naturel, yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, I'm going to have a little look and see if there's any on Google. Oh, there aren't any. Right, well, I'm going to make the first pineapple chili sauce then. Brilliant. And so that's where that came from. And then half an hour later, when they were having the coffee, Kelly said, do you know, you should make an ode to the day when you came up with the name Screaming Chimp. you should do a mango and papaya sauce. Why? Because, well, Malaga area is well renowned for growing mangoes, papayas, red bell peppers, onions, all that stuff. I'm like, well, that sounds like the first 4 ingredients to my third sauce. Right, mango and papaya it is. So there were the 3 sauces. So instead of calling that the Screaming Chimp, I was like, right, let's have a look for domain names. And then Keith has an LCN account. So he had a look. All of them were free. So Vicky set... I was pissed by this time. So Vicky set up an LCN account and was like, right, we'll buy those two, .com and .co.uk. And we used .com because we wanted to be found all over the world. So yeah. So that's that. We bought them at the dinner table. Just sat there still, having a couple of cocktails at the end. And when I got back to the UK, I spent the next few weeks looking at trademarking and what I needed to do, and just ticked every single box for every class that I wanted. And
the boring stuff.
Well, the first one actually was just for sauces and dry rubs and things like that. Condiments and dry rubs. I think it's class 20 or something like that. And then people kept on asking, have you got any t-shirts? You got mugs with this branding on it? You got this and that? I was like, okay, now I need to get some more trademarks,
the fun stuff,
more classes. So now, then when it came to doing that, that's when I spent till 4 o'clock in the morning, like ticking thousands of boxes. Like even just on like I was thinking of doing rucksacks and like having the chimp mouth, the chimp, have the whole of it as the Screaming Chimp, but this part here, this mouthpiece, would be the front unzipping bit, so the mouth would open and that. So like I went down that route and had a look at just like everything that I possibly could. So they are in those classes kind of thing. So I've since spoken to an IP solicitor and they said, well, you only really need to do clothing. It covers everything.
What?
Yeah, it's a bit like last year when I did the... well, actually, it was the year before because it takes a year. When I did the USA trademarks, they're like, well, if you do this all colour, you'll have to do... If you want to use any of these colours separately, you'll have to do separate ones. If you do black and white, or if you just do black on white, or just black, it'll cover all of those. So that's what I did, like your local heroes sign. I just did it black, so it just covers all colour iterations at some point, or if it goes in that direction. So yeah, at least I've got the. So I got those last April. I haven't done anything with them yet.
That avoids lots of cost.
Yeah,
if you get on the other route.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, people like talking about advice. People always ask, oh, not always, but a lot of people have asked over the years, what one piece of advice could you give if I was starting out on business, if I'm this and that, like if they market traders, like other market advisors, organisers, sorry, I've said like to all us traders, what piece of advice would you give? And I say, read your PLI. If you don't read it, if you don't read everything about it, the small print, how all their clauses, all their get outs, all the other stuff, if you don't understand it in and out, you're on a hide into nothing. Like the most boring bit is like looking at the stuff that you really don't want to look at. I don't want to look at this. Well, then look at it. Eat the frog. Eat the frog. Look at it and understand it, because if you don't, you'll come a cropper. You could, because like let's face it, just even for market stalls. If you've got, if you're in winds over 27 knots, most people's insurance is null and void. No matter what weights you've got on it.
And that's been a problem last few months as well, hasn't it? Kind of wind and markets and stuff like that. So because it's had a massive impact on people's trade as well, hasn't it?
Oh, of
leading
course.
up to Christmas, which should be the time of year when you're cooking, you're flying, everything's selling. But if you've got nowhere to sell, then that's a problem, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? That's why I got a website, and that was better this year than that was another 10% better than last year, which is good. Then shops got Fennec back on again this year after a 5-year hiatus, so that's nice. And they got in contact after I got the first Condiment Brand of the Year award. Can you come in and do some tasting days? I'm like, not really. I haven't got any time. Well, can you not employ somebody to do it? No, they're rubbish. They won't talk about the products as well. I've had that done before. Well, okay. Well, then leave it with us. I was like, what? What do you mean? And then about a month later, I had the first load of forms come in. Can you fill these forms in? Blah, blah, blah. And then they kept on coming. And now we're stocked back in Fennec again. So it's quite nice. So maybe the awards do work. So while I've been putting off going in for the Great Taste Awards again.
Because it's
I
all
think it is for
marketing,
a
isn't it?
retailer
You know?
point. Yeah,
Of course,
for
it's
a
all
retailer.
marketing. You know,
It separates you out from the crowd, I think. But
Yeah.
going back to the point about the market, so it just shows having those different sales channels, different things going on.
Yeah,
it's kind of what de-risks and saves your business.
Yeah,
and a lot of the people that we work with don't have that. You know, they rely on the direct
Well, the thing is, like,
sales
if you're dealing with bakes and stuff like that, frozen goods. Well, I mean, like, sometimes people think my product isn't worth. Believe in your product.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to charge accordingly. If somebody wants it, they will pay, like, the package. I mean, saying that, I do free postage at 30 quid on the website. And people keep on saying, you should do a subscription box. But I need to. You can get 6 products for 30 quid. You can make up your own box every time you order and get free postage. I don't have to do that. Yeah, but you would have reoccurring income. I would. But I got to pay £70 a month to have a free postage on more than one item. I think as far as I can work on WordPress, it's terrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, I keep on getting emails from people about Shopify, but I think Subly would be a better idea for me to build a website. Have the multiple subscription boxes on there, as well as just a normal website. On Subly, it seems to be the better. Watching lots and lots of reviews, it seems to be the better. Just for e-commerce, Shopify seems to be really, really good. But for everything and usability afterwards and that and changing things as well, which I want to do myself, which I do on my website now.
Or you were a foodie before that?
I? Yeah, so my mum was a home ec teacher.
Oh, I think you.
Yeah. My mum was a home economics teacher, so she taught us from cooking, all the household stuff. The only thing I really wasn't interested in is darning socks. Not really going to be wearing woolen socks, Mum. It's not the 1950s, for Christ's sake. Do you know what I mean? Or 70s or whatever. But yeah, you know, so that sort of side of things I wasn't that interested in. But she taught us everything from all the household stuff, budgeting, all that stuff. And so, yeah, I was in the kitchen from like 5 years old, like making cakes and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
I always liked the savoury side of stuff, though.
Yeah.
Which is bizarre. If my sauces have got demerara sugar in them or maple syrup. But, yeah, they're not overly sweet. But, yeah, I've always been interested in the savoury side of things. And so when I was still at when I was still at school, I would either walk or get a lift to the Green Man Inn, just south of Silverstone Race Circuit, in a little place, near a place called Cyrisham. And when Bradshaw owned it, it was before it had the Premier Inn, and all the Formula One drivers used to go there. And so I'd go in and be a pot washer, stuff like, you know, all the summer for, what was it, £2.25 an hour, I think. And after next summer I went in, they had a dishwasher, so they was like, well, we'll put you on sweets and stars. You can prep some veg. You can do this and that, blah, blah, blah. You can do the pie fillings. You can do the pie tops. You can do this and that, you know. So that's... it's that long ago. It was still fashionable to hedgehog mango.
What, do you not still do that now?
Yeah.
Centerpiece.
Yeah.
A food art. It's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, so that was sort of my first time in food. And then I was also sort of in the summer months, but prior to that, like my first ever thing that I earned money doing was my mum and dad used to have this old Mountfield lawnmower. So I used to, when I was 11, he used to drag it across the other side of town and mow the American estate houses because they were like, love you British boys. So he'd give me a £5 for the front and a £5 for the back in 1985.
Yeah, British people aren't getting that.
tenner.
There's a lot of difference between north and south. I was cutting gardens in the 80s. It was like £3 for the whole lot.
Yeah. Oh, really? £3 for the whole lot? Well, they said, how much do you charge? And I'm like, well, it's £5. Okay, there's a tenner because you've done both. And I'm like, whoa, okay. And that was the first one. So I learned rapidly. I was like, oh, okay then. So if you're going to pay me...
tail going on here.
Yeah.
I'll do £3.50. Yeah, I'll dig your whole garden over. I'll cut the
Value
back.
for the product.
Well, you've already mowed it, so how much do you charge? I'm like, well, it's a £5. And the first one gave me £10. I'm like, what? A £5? Oh, yeah. And I didn't say anything, and then I just kept to myself. And I walked to the next house, and they said, how much do you charge? I was like, it's a £5 for the front and a £5 for the back. They've just paid me a tenner.
Yeah.
And that's it, just went on. So I did a whole summer of that as well. So that was my first thing. Then car washing. And then the first job, like I say, employed by somebody, was the Green Man Inn, and then was for Fazenda Chicken, eviscerating chickens, which was not the most pleasant thing. But then I worked in, it was screen printing. I worked at loads of other things, window cleaning, British American racing, doing gearboxes. Well, it was actually for Gemini Transmission. Oh, mate, once I got bored of one thing or got sacked quite often in the 90s.
Yeah.
You could just walk out of one thing into another.
Yeah. It's like Forrest Gump.
Like, Forrest Gump, it didn't matter. Well, yeah, I mean, it was just the thing is, though, I always went round and I printed off like 28 CVs or, things like, and just walked around all these like Cardale doors, making garage doors, automotive fascia systems. I worked retreading commercial tyres for a summer. But I always walked around all the industrial estates, handing out all these, all these different companies. So if I got bored at one job or I got the sack from one, I was like, wow, I didn't really enjoy that. That's why I wasn't going. So I'll just go and do something completely different. I'll go and work at Laser Boats, making boats.
Yeah.
Or, I did stage lighting, for instance, and started... so when I was doing after the Fazenda Chicken, my next job was the silk screen printing, and that was doing like keg cap, the beer barrels, keg caps.
Yeah.
Like we did when it was still Carling Black Label. That was Carling Black Label was on there. We did like a million of them or something like that in 6 weeks. Just me sat there on this machine. Nightmare.
How long did you do that until your brain went right?
Ant traps, the smoke pellet tubes, all those things for Nikon, and or whatever the company was called. But and then and I started a reprographics course at Nen University, learning all about printing. But then the company went bust, so I lost that day release to college. Then when I started doing the stage lighting, we were 6 weeks late to start the course at Paddington for actual stage lighting. So they put us on at the same college, I know it's Booth Lane actually in Northampton, and they put us on this electrical installations course, and I was getting a 90%, 92% module pass on all my installations. And then I had a piece of steel fell on my head when I was actually at work. 16-foot high piece of steel fell on my head. And knackered my back and my spine and stuff like that, and my hips and that for ages. So I was at work for ages.
Like full on injury.
Oh yeah. So when the thing slid down the wall and hit me on the head, by the time I'd stumbled to the office, I had like this like half tennis ball size lump on the back of my neck, and they rang the hospital in just this little hospital in Buckingham and said like, this is what happened, blah blah blah. He's got this thing on his neck. All right, can you bring him here? So I went to the hospital like, right, full gear laid out, like strapped to this ambulance, blue lights on to Thorpe Mandeville. They thought I'd broken my neck. But I got there and did all the like tests, like had scan, had well, first of all had x-rays and blood tests and all this other stuff. Nothing wrong at all. Weird. Very strange.
That is weird.
But because this thing had metal plates in it where it would be screwed to the wall, it essentially what it was this shape with a plate on the end, fixed to the wall, bars like running along two of them, we'd hang lighting on it, hang lights on it. So when we come to prep the lights or get it out, we just pull it off. We were having shelving delivered, so we had to just move them. So we took one out of the wall, leant up again, out the floor on the wall, leant up, and as I walked off, hit me on the head. Yeah. It turned though, so it was lucky. It was lucky because look, if it hadn't turned like that, if it hadn't been the side of the bar that hit me, if that plate had gone in my head, I wouldn't be here.
I don't want to make light of the conversation, but how big was the hair at the time?
Oh, cushioned.
See, that's why I got a perm.
I don't know. I can't remember actually. How big was it? Was I going through my? Because I went through a stage of growing it then, and then having it plaited and dreaded and all that other sort of stuff. And when I was dancing, one night I had beads put in it. And the end,
so you're the man I wanted to be.
The problem is, I could hear, even over the massive speakers, I could hear the beads whacking on my glasses. So I'm dancing off beat to this I'm dancing off beat. I'm dancing to the beat. It just got frustrating, so I took it out.
One of them little clacker things.
I'm just thinking that.
Yeah.
I can't remember that.
I'm just thinking that clip that my daughter always watches on Friends, where Monica's got the shells in her hair.
Ah,
She's like,
yeah.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went through loads of different stages when I was a kid. Like, you know,
The colours weren't the same as the Screaming Chili Chimp colours, though, were they? Because I'm thinking there's a pattern. I'm trying to thread the pattern and the theme through here. So yeah, because you've got the screen print and you've done a lot of things, and you brought all of these lovely things together. I think. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
in many respects.
Well, it's funny you say that because, like now because when I was working at the wine bottling place, I bottled wine for 7.5 years. Well, I ran the vat room. Mm-hmm. So first of all, when I first came up here after doing, I left a job in. Well, I actually came up here for Christmas to visit.
Because you had family here as well.
No. Well, no. I've since found out that my great granddad was a founder of Bolden Golf Club and was the first 3 years team captain and was a club secretary and all that stuff. Played rugby for one of the County Durham rugby teams and stuff like that. I only found that out about 4 or 5 years ago. So it's good that I've been able to show my mum where her mum lived above Rehills at the end of Jesmond Bridge, which is why I wanted to come and do the market. Because I'm like, now I'm standing exactly where my gran would have walked or driven.
Right.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
That's really cool.
It is.
I love that. So you know, but yeah, talking about pooling things like making beef burgers, for instance, not cooking them. I did that at the Green Man on the griddle, but like making them from flank beef, heart, which wasn't classed as meat, but skirt, all those different things, cheek. I would take, the big frozen pallets, bring them all down, cut them up, do the recipes. And the first week that I was there, listen. The last person used to be £1,000 down in weight a week.
Or through waste?
Through food, just not following the recipes.
Right.
In fact, actually, the worst he did £1,000 a day up until we had to go at him and said, like, you're going to get the sack. And then he was down to £1,000 a week. I'm like, okay. My first day, after doing 6 tons, £8 discrepancy. It's like a heart. Like two hearts or something like that. 2 big ox hearts. So like I was just like I'm going to do it. I don't care how long it takes me. I'm going to do it properly. You won't be waiting. You might wait for the first few, but once I've built you up, and I've got my skill and I know what I'm doing, then you'll get them more rapidly. And then you have to go up and do the powders for the next day because obviously they put powders and all that sort of stuff, and then the rusk and things like that. So yeah, I learnt some things there. I learnt some things at Fazenda. I learnt some things when I was doing the wine bottling. So when I first came up here after working at De Boer Structures UK Limited, putting up marquees and all those other things, Isle of Wight Boat Show, Chelsea Flower Show, that kind of thing, all the white structures that are there. I used to work doing that all over the country. And then, it's bizarre, isn't it?
It sort of all comes together, though.
Yeah. But then
I'm going Bing, Mark. It's Bing. There's Bing bottles.
But then, exactly. But then, when I moved up here, when I came up here for Christmas, and Vic was like, "Do you want to stay?" I'm like, yeah, all right. So I rang up De Boer and went, I'm not coming back, don't you? Yeah. Well, okay, cool, thanks. You were next.
When did you meet Vic then?
When? Where? Or when? Where
and when?
So now this is a strange. So I'm friends with her cousins, and I'd been for years. And one day I'm like, who's that in that photo? Family photo above the sideboard in there. In the dining room. Who's that? No, she won't be interested in you. She's a pharmacist. She's very quiet. Oh, is she? That's my cousin. Oh, right. Yeah, well, she's quite tasty. Look like cake manure. 2 years later, I've completely forgotten about her, obviously. We're in the pub. And this couple walk in. And I danced up to her and went, how long have you been with your boyfriend? I didn't recognise her. How long have you been with your boyfriend? She's like, oh, he's not my boyfriend. He's my brother. Oh, really? Oh, okay. And I got embarrassed at that for some reason. I don't know why. And then about half an hour later came back. And this is how I remember it, or how I thought I remembered it at the time, was that I asked her, do you want a boyfriend? That's not what happened. It turns out that I was caterpillaring all around and breakdancing all around the pub. Absolutely pissed off my face. And breakdancing, get her up on the dance floor, blah, 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 getting everybody else up on the dance floor. And then we got invited back to my friend's house where I made a chicken and white wine sauce, tastes like a chicken pot noodle, while everybody else was outside having a smoke and a drink. And Vic was standing sort of in between the kitchen door because she doesn't smoke, Everybody else is outside. I'm cooking. She's like, "Yep, you'll do."
I like how your version is.
Yeah. Do you want
Would you like a boyfriend?
But I did actually ask her. I was like, "Do you want a boyfriend then?" But that's not how she remembers it. And she was a lot more sober than I was because she wasn't feeling very well. So
yeah, yours sounds good though. Yours sounds pretty entertaining.
And then the next night was the birthday party that she'd came down from Durham to go to, who was the cousin that I was friends with. So I'd been invited to the party anyway. So even if I hadn't met her that night, I would have met her the next night. Well, I might not have met her. So that next night, I met all of extended family, all the cousins, all the aunties, uncles, great aunts, great
Fast
uncles.
track.
Fucking hell, yeah. So literally at some, I don't know what, after about an hour of chatting to all the family, I went off up to the bar, and she said, the next day, she said, I asked Gran what she thought of you. He's a keeper. Keep him. He's a good one.
Oh, they're getting Gran on the side. That's it.
Mate.
That's the key, isn't it? It is the key.
Eleanor, bless her.
There's no going back.
That's it. Once you've got like generations.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So that next night, after the party, we went then back to my friend's house. I had a few more drinks, and at the end of the night, about 3:30, I walked back to the cousins. And I was like, based on what you know now, if I asked you to marry me, what would you say? I said, "Oh, based on what I know now, I'd say yes." I didn't ask her then. It took another 4 years, but
I like all of it. But dialogue is like a sort of like an 18th century gentleman.
Yeah, I know.
I've been wondering.
Yes. If I was to ask you, based on what you know now,
were you on a horse?
Would you marry Yes.
Yesterday you came as a breakdancer. Today you come as a 19th century knight. 15th century gentleman.
If I was to try and dance now, I would break. I tell you. I can hardly keep a rhythm these days. And to think I used to get paid for dancing is nuts. But yeah, when I first came up here, I found it really difficult. I found it difficult to get a job. So I ended up doing 7 weeks at City Info at Durham. I had 2 screens. I'd never even been in front of a computer. So I had 2 screens, and people would just ring up, tell you their life story, and I'm like, okay, so which department would you like? Well, I was on a headset. I don't know why I'm holding the phone. So that was the first thing I did. And then I saw an advert in the paper, because I had no formal qualifications whatsoever. Left school at 16 with 3 E's, 2 F's, a G, and an ungraded for business studies, of all things. Or understanding industrial society, it was UIS. And then so I did a forklift license, got a free law forklift license, got a job at Greencroft with the agency. I was playing snooker in Stanley when Mark said, "Can you come in for an interview?" And I went and did forklift. Then I was, after 10 months of doing that, he said, "Can you be a team leader in the VAT room?" Why? I don't know anything about that. He said, "No, but you like making decisions, and we need somebody in there that can make decisions. You can learn the job. We need somebody in there that can make decisions." So, all right, I'll do that. And a year later, I got made senior tankman. And after that, the year later, I got supervisor. So I was running 3 shifts at Greencroft and running their VAT room and training guys. Yeah, so when I first started there was 23 of us all together. Mm-hmm. There's 280 staff there now.
Ooh,
that's huge.
It's massive. They just built a whole new plant. And they're just sort of moving in gradually into this whole new plant now. Yeah, they're very good at what they've done. Tony and Veronica Cleary.
We've already asked Tony to come on the podcast.
Oh, have you really? Yeah, it was pretty cool actually when we went to do the Canny Taste of County Durham at which you put me forward for. Thank you, Chris. With at the Houses of Parliament, Lanchester wines were there, so I was like, that's pretty cool. I used to run your VAT room. There's Victor. Well, I supply you with your cranberries for your cranberry sauce. Heather Mills, you're over there. You want my stuff in your blah blah blah. I put because I went in at 7:30 in the morning. Sorry, or 8:30. I can't remember.
You let these guys loose in the Houses of Parliament.
Yeah, and I went in. I was the first one in, so I'm like, well, I saw the video of Yorkshire, and I'm like, I'm not having it like that. It was a mess. So I just set out all the tables in a C shape, and just was like, right, we'll have this here, the cages, So I just put the signs out of where I thought people should go, and then so I was like, well, we'll have Love Some Oil next to me. Because of course, I use their product, and they we help each other. So that was pretty cool. So I enjoyed that. Like, I used to run your vat room. I used to do this or do that. I used to be stocked in your shop at Nitsley. Use your products, done this for you, blah, blah. I never heard of you, though. And that was it, really. I knew everybody there. So it's pretty cool, like, knowing everybody there.
Yeah, it's smart connecting all the dots, isn't it? You know,
I love it.
The journey that you end up there, but this has served a purpose up until that point here.
Yeah, well, this is why after breaking a bicep off and having this one moved, then that snapped off. I then couldn't do the job. I couldn't go back and do the wine bottling anymore. I couldn't go and lug 30-meter, pipe, 3-inch pipe full of wine, lift filter housings and stuff like that. So the Polish lads were like, get Neil back to do the training. He's the best. He doesn't just say, move that, do that, blah, blah, blah. Like I used to pull filter housings apart, the old ones that were getting thrown away. I'd make them as clean as possible and then cut them up and say, like, this is the 5 layers that make this filter up. This is why you need to do this. This is the reason you do this. I'd put knackered filter housings in when we had a quiet day and do training and show, right, okay, this is what's going to happen. If you put it on and it's dry, it puts a hole through it. If we knacker it at this end, there's no changing it once it's in bottle.
Yeah.
You cannot do anything about it. Then it's a product recall. Do you want it coming out your wages? I wanted to get it right from the word go, which is what happened when my EHO first came to the house. She's like, why have you got cost sheets? I'm like, well, what do you mean? She goes, well, you don't employ anybody. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I want to at some point. I need to have everything in place while I'm really small. So, I don't need to learn all this stuff as I'm going. Yeah. I can learn it now while I'm small, while I've got the time. So if it ever arises that I employ anybody, I've already got stuff in place. I don't need to worry about it.
One step ahead all the time.
Well, that's it. That's what happens. That's what I was saying to you earlier about like the mild to wild thing. Not really anybody was doing that. They were just doing hot and hotter. Now lots of people do, mild to wild. Nobody was, now people come to market new companies. They're either 5 or 7 sources. Mostly it's 7. If you have a look at most new companies, they come to market with 7 sources. My hot sauce holster. Now I got a big shout out to Steve, Can You Get Steve over in Florida, because they're called hot sauce holsters. And it was actually Shelley and Justin originally that owned the company, and her husband passed away. Now it was there that I got in contact with first of all and said, look, I understand that you've got like an alligator on your holsters because you're based in Florida, and I understand you've got a picture of 3 chilies, yin and yang and whatever. But I can't see any like Tabasco or Whipped Chili Farm or anybody like that. Have you not got any with like logos on? Ooh, that's an idea. Nobody's ever asked us. Really? Right. There's my bottle dimensions and then my logo. I'm going to be your first. So I put mine on socials and they put it on, and then straight away, Wiltshire 20. SoCal hot sauces. Bravado hot sauces. Everybody started then. Mungo's, blah, blah. Everybody. Uncle Mungo's, all that stuff. Tabasco. Now they supply hot ones. It's like, now they got a really, really good company. Like, just but it's Steve that took over the company after the husband passed away. And Shelley's just chilling out, like, she's just happy now. But yeah,
like an ideas factory.
I am. Yeah, I generally am. That's what got me annoyed at the other places. Every single place that I've ever worked was, this will help, this will do this will do this. My dad's the same. This will help. This will get you to this place quicker and more efficiently. Yeah. This will do this better. No
one's listening. Yeah, you've got the ideas. No one's listening because you're not at that level that anyone's going to listen to.
Well, you haven't got any complications. Yeah. Why would I listen to you?
Yeah.
Well, because everything that you've asked me to do, and I've told you it's not going to work, has not worked for the reasons that I told you. It wasn't going to work.
Slide the document over.
You were definitely the chess player of food entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
I met you 7 years ago now, maybe 8 years.
Yeah, 2017. You put a business card in my hand at Saltburn Food Festival, I think it was.
Is that where it was?
Somewhere like that. I can't remember.
I was still at the Department for Trade. And even
yes,
then,
that's right.
You came to me. I want to go to the States.
Yeah.
I'm already thinking about it.
Yeah.
Might not be this year or next year.
Yeah, it's a long time. It's a long time. It's such a lot of money to invest, though, and I just don't have the money to invest. It's such a lot of money. I mean, I'd need. It's a whole new business.
Yeah, of course.
It's a whole new business, which I'm not. I'd be quite happy to do if I could get it, but it would have to be Costco, or it'd have to be somebody big to make it worthwhile. Because otherwise, all the shipping and everything. Obviously, it would be X Works price. You know, this is, I'm assuming that's what it was for Abu Dhabi and Dubai. I don't know. For Jones Grocer when it was stocked in there. But I mean, they ordered 1,000 bottles, and obviously that must be gone by now. You know, it's 2 years ago. So it's just like with Fennec now. We might only be in for this Christmas.
Yeah,
it might not be a thing going forward. You know, that's what happened at Kew Gardens a few years ago. You know, they wanted us in for the chili for the man table, so it was stocked in Kew Gardens, and I don't know, it was not bad, like, you know, a couple of grand, but it was over as soon as the glass art installation was going to take up that space. There was no more food in there, so I think people get hung up on it, mate. I used to.
Well, they see, I used to get hung up. Elixir, don't they? Like, once I've made that leap away from making this on my kitchen table, and I get into this big retailer, that's going to be the next phase of the business. It's not always the case.
It's not always the case.
It's mostly not the case, isn't it?
No, I mean, the other thing is, though, like, there's a big leap. You have to really, really. I mean, I know companies that are out in supermarkets, and they're really not making the money that people think they are.
Definitely not in supermarkets, because I think the profit's very low on that.
Yeah.
But I saw that with, Levi Roots, when you saw him on the telly, and then he had like 5 different flavours. Now there's one. You can't get the other flavours in the shop anymore, so he's only got the one, which is barbecue.
Yeah.
Probably because they don't sell. So, and half the stuff now just gets taken off the shelf, especially like vegan stuff, things like that.
The thing is, though, if he's not big on TV, if he's like, the thing is, I think with gimmicks, people get bored of a gimmick.
Yeah.
If it's about no, not saying anything bad about Levi at all. But like, it was a song.
Yeah.
Once the song's gone, if the products are not what people want anymore. I mean, the thing is, though, that's the other thing. Since I started and since Levi did that, the chili industry has changed so much over the years. Yeah. Well, food in general has, but like specifically the chili industry has changed so much. And I have to say, I'm not blowing my own trumpet here, but I do think I have had something to do with that, with regards to not just making hot sauces and hotter, not just using crap products, not just making, and not just settling for rubbish. And although I haven't grown massively, and other companies have, I do think that I've been instrumental worldwide in changing a lot of the things in the chili industry. I'm not saying I'm the only one, because there have been others like SoCal doing stuff with avocado and that. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere near that, because that's your thing, man. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You do that. Like, I stayed away from doing, a banana and habanero product. People like, Screaming Chimp, you need a banana and habanero. No, that's Adam's product, or Chef Bernie's further down south. I'm like, I'm not doing that. That's their thing. No, come on, do it. So I had some bananas, and I previously bought 2, because I was like, okay, I'll just do a trial and see what I think of it, and see what other people think. Over the years, you just get worn down a little bit by it, I suppose, by people asking.
Dance for us.
Yeah, dance, fucking dance. Do the dance. So I bought some of this banana puree, so this Funking Pro, I think it's called. Anyway, so I put some of that in. I put put the bananas in, chopped up the garlic, put other stuff in, and I got this other pouch out, and I was like, right, let's just cut the top off of that, because the first one was a bit gloopy to. Oh, that's a bit runny. What's that? Oh, that's lemon juice. Shit. I put a litre of lemon juice in it. Because I was like, well, this isn't good. I tasted it. I was like, oh, that'd be good on fish. So I just bottled it. I bought some bottles off of a company that was getting rid of some. And they just sent me a free box of these 250ml bottles. So I just put this into those, because they're free. So it's literally, people were just paying for the ingredients inside. They were just paying £3. And I took it to Saltburn food market, and some of them were, oh, can I try this banana thing? I'm like, well, you say banana. That don't really taste anything like bananas anymore, because there's a litre of orange juice in it, but it does taste like lemon and garlic. Do you like lemon and garlic? Yeah, I'll have a go. And they still had the banana in their head, and some people were like, oh my God, that's disgusting. But 16 of the 25 bottles got bought that day. by people that really liked it. And then the others just got bought the next day, out trading. So I was like, okay, well, I'd already written down the recipe, what I thought was the recipe anyway, what I was going to make, but I messed it up by putting a litre in. So now that's my lemon and garlic sauce. So now, when I go back to making the actual banana and habanero thing, I will put the actual 100ml of lemon juice in, not the litre. And so then it will be and up the banana. So then it will be the banana and habanero product. So essentially,
product development.
So it's just
top the accents all the way. Yeah,
mate. Yeah,
that's it.
I mean, like I do a product called Lick.
Yeah.
I do a product called Lick or Ish every July because I wanted to get onto because I already did the Wakefield Food, Drink and Rhubarb Festival, and made a rhubarb and habanero preserve for that every year. So because I wanted to get onto, I'd heard it was Wakefield Council, so I was like, okay, it's in Ponty. It's great to trade at. Right, cool. But you've got to have a product with licorice in it. Oh, really? Don't really like licorice. Right, okay, well, I'll have a go at making something then. So, cherries, pears, date syrup, smoked paprika, garam masala, tomatoes, blah, 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 blah. Ground licorice root. Oh, that's my new favourite sauce.
Really?
Every year.
Your favourite sauce?
Yeah, it's probably my favourite sauce out of all my products. Yeah. But I only do it every July, so that's one of the limited editions.
I've not tried that.
Now because last year I didn't get onto the Wakefield Food, Drink and Rhubarb Festival, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not coming back anymore. So I'll do this with the end of the year in August. So I'll make this every August as my limited edition. So that's now, the Rhubarb and Habanero Preserve is now August's limited edition.
Are you eating your own product as well?
Yeah, of course.
So you're a chili guy before you kind of started doing it.
I'm a foodie.
But it's kind of,
which
is
why
always disappointed by the lack of kind of products out there. Is that why you started to do that kind of thing?
Well, when I had my first 5 products in shelf life testing, because I made them natural. I didn't want anything in them. I didn't want any, I chose sulfite-free vinegar. Don't need sulfites in it. It's acid. What do you want about?
Because you always wanted to have like a clean deck product.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
I just don't like crap in food. It's not. It's unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's not necessary. My products have got a 2-year shelf life without any rubbish in them.
That's good. That's good enough.
They don't need. They would, to be honest, they would probably have a 4-year shelf life. Yeah. I still pH test stuff. I think it went to. So I've still actually got a Tupperware of the very first sauce I ever made from 2000 April 15, I think it was, and I still pH test it now. Although it's 4.6 now, you can't really eat. I wouldn't consume that. Up until about 2 years ago, it was still well below. At 6 years old.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah.
And that's just acid based. So that's so that's just. I mean, it might not look great, but you can still consume it. And it won't harm you. The idea is that you have a pH below 4, so no bacteria can survive.
Right. I need to pick this up. You side-eyed me before when Neil said, "I don't like licorice."
No, licorice.
And you side-eyed me, and I thought, is that because you really like licorice?
I ate licorice for the first time when I was in junior school, and I projectile vomited for the next 2 hours. So no, I don't like licorice.
I don't like licorice.
Aniseed, I can get away with a little bit of aniseed, but yeah, it's kind of licorice all sorts. I would just eat the coconut sugary bit.
I used to be like that when I was a kid. Little bowls on the outside.
I don't like them ones either. I like the ones, the square ones with a fondant in between, with a little bit of licorice.
Oh yeah,
the jelly was the aniseed. The jelly ones with like the little balls on the outside. Like kind of hundreds and thousands.
Yeah.
That was just acceptable. That's as far as I could go.
People
for
get
licorice
sticks of licorice.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have. So the whole point of this sauce is that you get the fruit, you get a little bit of the spices.
It's an ingredient,
which is not chili, of course.
Like
chili is fruit, not spice. In the form that I use it, fresh chili is it's still a fruit. It's got seeds in it. So it hasn't gone through a process to become a spice at that point, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you understand the definition of what a spice is, the differentiation.
You've made me want some chili sauce.
I know.
Really have.
I've got a van full, mate.
I was going to say I want to try them all. I'll keep you from there.
Do you like chili sauce?
Do you like chili?
I do. I do. Yeah, I like a chili sauce.
Ah, cool.
Not crazy. I like the kind of like fruity chilies. Like I like the flowery, like a habanero with like a mango or with like a pineapple or something in there. Quite nice.
Yeah, see, my pineapple sauce, I was really proud of it. So, like, although I said I had been saying for years it was the first on the planet, obviously, I've had people recently taken back to, oh, my gran makes something like just like this in Malacca or, you know, in the Philippines or wherever. And I'm like, oh, cool. This is well cool. Hearing this, that I make something just like that. And they've taken it back just to show them. And like bought two so they can take one home and have one themselves. And obviously in the Caribbean and places like that, obviously in Costa Rica where the bloody things are grown, I'm sure they've been making chili pineapple sauces for ages. It's just there were none on Google. And there was none in Europe. Yeah. So like a lot of people all across Europe, when I met a lot of people, when I went to a chili festival in the summer last year down in Windsor, Datchet, I went to UK Chili Queen's house, Shahina. She's been on TV, loads of things. She eats loads of wins. Her goal is to get to 100 consecutive chili eating competition wins. She's part of League of Fire. Her and her husband Paul and Matt Tangent set up League of Fire in the UK, which is now worldwide. So there's a League of Fire belt eating.
It's the whole world, isn't it?
Right, this is what I say to people. It's a chili world. It's a chili world. There is a chili world. It's like the underworld, the underbelly.
You're talking about like it's about 50.
I'm talking about the underbelly. It's like the cap cramps in your underbelly.
This whole dog. There's a secret door. There's a chili world. Well,
there is. I mean, like there's the Comic Con world. There's the there's the Star Wars world. You know, people like there's a V-dub world. When we used to have a tin top V-dub, like you'd always have people flashing your lights at you with other people in V-dubs, old V-dubs.
Because I know Hot Ones is huge. I was talking to you about that as well, and that's kind of, you know, has that increased sales of what you do just because of people want to try hot sauces all the time?
No, because that's UK. That's America.
Yeah, but is there any
so
crossover?
I sent sauces to the company who supplies the. So they stock them in two shops, one in Manhattan, one in Brooklyn. They stock the sauces, and they try all the sauces with the wings. And then Sean does the show. And so I sent them out, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we know your stuff already. You got to make us a new product though." Yeah, we have exclusivity of it for 6 months, and then after that 6 months with our branding on it, then you can sell it.
Yeah.
So I've made sauces. So there's always things in the pipe. So
weird to America.
So I've already got 3. Yeah. I've just made one for, like I say, with Racing Rum with his rum. He's given me another two bottles of product to make a Christmas thing and a thing with vodka. So yeah, there's always stuff going on. I make Durham dressing for Cathedral. It's a non-chili product. I do things for other people as well. So it's not just like, and it's all still from home. Like, you know, and when people say, like, it's annoying that people still say, well, you don't make anything anymore. I'm like, no, I don't make 4 out of the 22 products. That's it. But I don't print the T-shirts. I don't print the mugs either. I don't make the hot sauce holsters. Yeah. You know, I didn't do the gazebo. Yeah. I do all the other things. So and it's frustrating when other traders say it as well. Yeah. It's like, you should know better. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You should know better to try and call me out on something when really you know what's what. I started off outsourcing 7 products when we were trying for a child. So in 2019, we were like, I can't really make pepper spray in the house when we've got a newborn. It's really not going to work. I'm not really going to be able to do anything. I can't really make anything.
So it's like, well, I can. Away from that, yeah. Everything's got chili on it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you a story about that later. About him.
It'd be like Breaking Bad, you know. Like,
oh yeah,
you got a trailer.
Well, I've had I bought one of those things, and it makes no difference.
He's in his pants finishing off the chili.
Got a picture of his kids in like overalls and that.
Right, either put them on hazmat suits on, Neil goes outside.
I bought one of those masks. I bought one of those things, like a whole gear, and I'm like, it doesn't make any difference. It still comes in.
Oh, right, okay.
And it doesn't really make much difference. Right, the only thing really that is to, like, when it's cooking, it's going to have extractor. Yeah. So I'm not that fussed. Vicky will cough when she walks in the door because it works its way to the extremities of the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, if I don't have the window, I need to have the windows open so it goes out the extremities. But it works its way to the corners of the house. And so I don't notice it.
Because you're in it.
Well, I'm in it. I'm right in the thick of it. And I've been making it for, ages. Whereas, Vic noticed. You've been making that bloody howler again. Well, not she sounds. She doesn't sound like an old hag witch or anything like that. I know she. You've been making howler again. You evil man, you.
So I'm guessing you become sensitive, desensitized
to a point.
Desensitized to that.
To a point.
Yeah.
Making the chili oil.
Mm-hmm.
It's chili powder. That's in the air. There's no extraction.
Mm-hmm.
I cough when I'm making it. Sometimes when I'm making that, I've worked out how to do it in reverse now, so I'm not anywhere near it. So it's always at arm's length.
Mm-hmm.
You should know. Like I should have known. It's like 3 years I've been making the bloody product. So do you know what I mean? Yeah. But literally in the last 2 months, I've worked out that.
Damn it again!
Yeah. Okay. Keep on hitting yourself, Neil. Yeah. Washing up is the thing.
Yeah.
Washing up, you have no escape. The steam rises, you go straight in your face. That's it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Rubbing your eyes and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
but Albie, right? So when he was, gosh,
he's got to get it at some point. Yeah.
So I'd been processing some jigsaw chilies, and they're about 1.8 million on the Scoville heat scale. They're very, very hot, and they're very fruity. They're delicious, but they're stupidly hot. So I had washed out the food processor, and I only use it for chili. And we've got magnets on the cupboards, like these little locking things in magnet. You open it, obviously went blah, blah, blah. But because I'm constantly in and out of that while I'm making or while I'm processing, I hadn't put the lock on. I'd just taken it off. And I didn't realise that I went to the toilet and he went in the cupboard. And he was playing around with this thingy. What's Daddy doing? What blah, blah, blah. And his fingers were everywhere. So then he started touching his face and he was touching his boy's bits. And he was screaming and Mum went... So I was like, went in to see him have his nappy changed, and he had red all over his face and all down here and round here. I was like, has he been in that cupboard? He's been touching the chili. No, right, okay, I'm going to go see if we've got any yogurt. We didn't have any yogurt, we had creme fraiche. So I went and literally spread it all over his face and all over his boy's bits. And within 6 seconds, he'd stop crying.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, what do you do? Do you fill the bath of milk? Do you pour it on, or do you smother the creme fraiche?
Yeah, smother.
Lather in it like sun cream.
Well, that's my baby. What am I on about? I'm not getting that ain't good, man. That's like get it on, baby. No, that's the wrong. That's the wrong baby. So yeah.
What's your cut-off point with chili, or is there a cut-off point?
In my mouth, there isn't one.
No.
It's my gut.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
In my
so
mouth, I can have a piece of coal out the fire in my mouth because I can deal with it. Like I can dealing with pain.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's right, like it's kind of like my mouth is like external. You can kind of do something with it a little bit. You know that if you have yogurt, whatever, blah blah blah, baby bit of cheese, stuff like that. Like Shahina when she does chili eating competitions. Afterwards, she'll have chocolate milk and she'll have baby bells, stuff like that, because it really helps a little bit. Some people have rice pudding and things like that, to start with, so it lines the stomach.
Yeah,
like Justin Rummel, who came over from New Zealand, that's what he'll have half a can of rice pudding before start eating chilies, because they start their competition. Like more normal people, we'll start at like one of each chili, one jalapeno. One Thai red green, one Thai green, one this and that, one habanero. They'll start off at 10 Carolina Reapers.
10.
Yeah, they're 10 rounds of 10. 10 pods.
That's a
nothing under 1 million Scoville heat scale. To start with, they'll go back and do like in the speed round. They'll go back and they'll do sweet peppers, whatever, because it's a speed eating round. So some might be really thick walled. Some might be really thin-walled. Some might be super hot and really
You're
mild.
living that already. I can see it.
I hope it was a big prize.
You can see it. Get off me.
Yeah.
Get that stuff away from me.
I've seen it. Yeah, I saw a clip online. That he ate something. I don't know what it was, but it was crazy. He ate it outside, and then it cut to him and the officers crawling, and they're phoning the ambulance. He's getting salad. He's just crawling along the floor. Yeah, I think we need some help. He's had a spicy pepper. Just his mates daring him on a lunchtime. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it was. I was going to kind of navigate to the menu here. The top three. I was thinking of chili, but then I thought
Oh, it's too easy.
It's too easy. So I was going to say the top 3 foods you'd have with your sauces.
That's a good riff.
Well, they're
Thank you.
different.
Thank
for,
you. I'm trying to figure that one out.
They're different for all sorts. Like,
So top 3 foods with, you would go, for you,
so pineapple.
what would you, yeah.
Pineapple sauce. That's my mildest. We'll go through them left to right, mild to wild, and I'll talk about which.
So what you're going to eat with that?
So with pineapple, they're really good for spicy margarita cocktails. Very good for ice cream. Great for chicken wraps.
Ice cream.
Yeah, spice cream. Never heard of spice cream?
Chili?
I've never heard of that thing.
Well,
no.
now you have.
Give that a go.
Oh, hey,
Yeah, so spice cream. So it's very
New
good for that.
world.
But very good for salad dressing and potato salad. Very good for fish. All sorts of different things like that. That's the pineapple. It's very, in fact, great for Scotch eggs, bacon sandwiches, like anything porky, anything salty. It's great to put on pizzas. I know people say pineapple don't belong on pizza.
No, it
But
doesn't.
I can tell your ass it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
My little boy does, but no.
Yes, it does. It does. It does. So I supply.
But it's different. It's different.
Well, I supply
Different
pizza
kind of
companies
sauce,
with
'cause
the
you
pineapple
dip
sauce,
it
so
in-
it definitely does.
A pineapple and a sauce, separate the two though, so you could be right, because it's like a little,
Well, that's the thing.
it's like
That's why
condiment, isn't it?
That's
level
why it's
of
the least selling.
additional-
That's why it's the least selling sauce in shops,
Okay.
but the best selling sauce by far out of mine in
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
So once people have tried it, normally out of 1,000 people, maybe 40 to 100 people won't buy it.
Yeah. So what's number 2 on the list?
Number 2 at the moment would be original hot sauce. Now that's good for putting in it's just simple things like if you like salad cream, just mix it with that or mayonnaise, hummus, all those other different things like that. It's very nice for making a Bloody Mary with. It's great for it's good for lots of nice to make. So when you've got that chili salad cream as well. So like I then like doing my tuna pasta with it, or potato salad.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's really nice. It's quite versatile because it doesn't have spices in it. The original hot sauce. It's not like Chipotle because that's got smoked paprika, garam masala, caraway.
All the nice
The garam
things.
masala is composed of 8 spices already.
Yeah, now you're talking.
So that's actually my spiciest sauce.
Yeah.
It's not my hottest. It's my spiciest. It's got the most spices in it.
Yeah.
It's got maple syrup in it, and in fact, I think it was the first chili sauce to have maple syrup in it. I think.
I'll have one of those, please, now.
Yeah, lush.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very nice, and and the pineapple go very well together. But that's very good for making chili con carne. It's very good together to put on your pizza. It's great for like loads of different things. Like people use them for all sorts of different things. Howler, for instance, great to make a curry. In fact, my friend Nick Fairley, who used to do Fairley's Fine Condiments, you know Nick, don't you? He now does Fairley's Culinary School in Newcastle, teaching people how to make curries because he spends a month every year going off to different parts of the world and learn how to make food from that area, and then he brings them back, turns them into curry spice mix, and that's what he sells now. So Nick, he said I was in India, and he said I had this when I came back. He said I wanted to make this jalju curry. He said it had something that you made in it, and he says it's one of your sauces. He says it's very fruity, blah blah blah, and hot. I'm like, it's Howler. It could be Stinger, it could be this. I'm like, no, it'll be Howler. I said it's like I have a lot of Asian people buy this because they love it. They like Pakistanis people, a lot of people that are northern India buy it. People all over the place. Mexicans love it as well. But he said, so I took him over a bottle of monkey lime, a bottle of Howler. We trialed it. He's like, yeah, it's Howler. I'm like, I know. I knew it would be. I told you it would be.
Yeah.
So whenever I make Howler, I tell him that it's in, so he can sell it with his jalju curry mix. Screamer, again, the chili component to add into if you don't want it really, really hot. Monkey lime, very good for doing guacamole in that because it's a lot of chili and lime. And that came around because I did like people get up. You should make a chili and lime product. I really like lime. Probably going to make a crappy product. But I got a great name for you. Go on then. Monkey lime. What's the matter? Don't you know what key limes are? I'm like, yeah, I do. It's a great name. I'm going to have to make it now, aren't I? Turns out I quite like limes. So that's how. That's really good for. That's very good for things if you like. I said to one guy once, put it in some Coca-Cola just as a laugh. He quite liked it. It's bizarre. I was
I'm
like,
going to try all these things, right?
I know.
Yeah,
You just kind
got
of take it to its own menu.
but
isn't
it doesn't matter. Put them in slow cookers when you're doing a brisket, when you're doing a pulled pork, when you're doing all that sort of stuff. Like, play with your food. It's like you can't. Like, you might think, oh, this is only for doing this with. Well, if that was the case, people would only use orange juice for drinking.
Yeah.
You know, you're saying tap into your inner child, tap into your inner chimp. That's kind of what
Yeah.
There you are. Yeah.
Keep on chimping, man. Well, that's came around because people were like, well, I remember the Forrest Gump thing when it was like, keep on smiling. And then I'd seen a jacket somebody used to have, keep on trucking. And then I just said, one day I just said, oh, keep on chimping. I'm going to keep on chimping. You got to keep on chimping. Yeah, keep on chimping. And the more I said it, the more it made sense.
I can just still hear your voice on that video we did years ago.
Oh, yeah.
All the boys
in
on
your
train.
kitchen, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All about the chimp train. yeah, the sound train. I got so glowing.
We've got to ask the compost.
You kind of
question.
mark,
Oh, yeah,
mark
go on,
his
do it,
dream
mate.
here.
We've got to do
Right.
it.
I mean, it's a proper shift, but what's your Greg's order? Are you going into
I
Greg's?
don't go to Greg's.
You don't go to Greg's?
No, I hate to say it.
Fictional Greg's order.
Have you ever been to
I don't
Greg's?
know. Yeah. Oh, actually, no. I get
As
a
a
coffee
boy,
and an
was it-
eclair.
A coffee,
a coffee
and an
and an
eclair.
eclair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason for the eclair, is it just because they do the best eclair, or is it something you've just kind of, you want to, I quite like that.
I quite often take my own food.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I buy my own Christmas presents.
You're wrapping yourself as well.
I don't really like what anybody else does.
Yeah.
It's like when people says,
Okay.
"Is it like this sauce?" I don't care. I don't know. I'm not interested in what anybody else is doing.
Yeah.
I
gonna say, is there
don't want to inadvertently make something that somebody else is making,
yeah,
so I
I
don't
get
taste
that.
it.
Yeah, I get that.
Is there any sauces that would go with any Greg's products, do you think? You know
Oh,
what I mean?
pineapple.
Oh, yeah.
Pineapple goes with everything.
Yeah,
There is
what would you-
nothing it will not go
So,
with.
a sauce with some, what would you think? From
so
from
if-
a Greg's?
I'd whack some howler and a bacon sandwich.
Howler and a bacon sandwich and a Greg's bacon sandwich. Because of the chili-based questions here
Yeah.
and answers, let's go last meal. Right. Last meal, last chilies, last two chili sauces you could have.
Last meal.
Mm-hmm. But you
Two
use sauces,
courses.
2 courses only. But
2 courses, 2 sauces.
2 sauces, 2 courses, 2 sauces. Yeah. Your last 2 sauces. So out of all of these lovely ones that you talked about, you could only choose 2. And what you're having with them.
It's a good question, that.
Thank you. I'm thinking. It's a
tough one, though.
It's because
I'd
the
have
rest
a
of face is working. It's
I'd have
magic, you know what I
a
mean?
lamb danzak with a chicken biryani.
Mm-hmm.
Lamb.
Lamb.
Yeah, but I like the chicken in the biryani, but I would have howler in. I would put my howler sauce into the lamb danzak
Yeah.
because I love the flavour of that, the lentils, the pineapple, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I love it when I mix that howler into it because it
Ooh.
just changes it completely. It's a great base. It's like I say that the pineapple sauce is a great base for all the other products. You know, you can mix all of the others in with the pineapple sauce, and it doesn't matter.
I've
The
never heard of
danzak is a
somebody
great.
adding their own product into it. Like somewhat, you know, if you go for a meal
I
and
do.
then you're
I
adding
do.
some
I have a couple of
else in.
Asian restaurants using
yeah.
nice
You know?
products because they like
Okay.
them. Yeah, they like them.
Oh, yeah.
They like to add them to
that's
their
allowed.
existing
You're
dishes.
allowed.
Just got a vision of you going out with like just different condiments inside of your jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Let's
you go-
try some-
yeah,
Yeah, bandolero or something of like.
You go with your holster on now, yeah.
Well, they do.
it's
The
kinda
hot
like
sauce hostess. They go
Desperado,
around all these.
yeah.
They go around all these hot sauce expos. They've made this sauce bandolier.
Yeah.
So they like when they're around all these hot sauce expos at Albuquerque and all these other places in America, and you got Johnny Scoville over there chatting with Steve and stuff like that, and I'm like, I love you guys. So it's nice to see you. And Kendall Sadler from Tasting the Heat, and like I say, Johnny from Chasing the Heat and stuff like that. And they've had programs done on them. You know, they're on Disney Channel. There's a program called Super Hot Lives of Spicy Peppy People, where Johnny is going around essentially looking for the hottest thing that you can eat, the hottest pepper that you can eat, talking to growers, talking to other people. Then you've got Shahina and Paul from League of Fire and Matt on there as well. And you know, it's nice being friends with these people.
Yeah.
It's not. I love it. They're awesome. They're awesome
Nice
people.
community,
They're doing a great job, and they're really pushing the not just chili, because there's for me. I did a post a couple of weeks ago. I see there's 4 types of people that like chili. There's obviously chili wimps. They're starting off on the chili journey, or they don't like it at all. But they're starting up. The chili wimps are the ones that are starting off, and they're just getting there, or they're kids, you know. Or they're adults that have been scared and they're coming back on again. You know, after getting off the treadmill, they're coming back on again.
That's me.
And there's chili heads, who I see myself as one of. and I see myself as a chili head because I like lots of different types of chilies. I like growing, not that I do a lot of it much anymore, because I'm so busy. I seem to keep killing things. Plants, not just things. I'm not like there's a rabbit out there.
Finish that sentence. Yeah.
Yorkshire Ripper thing that we mentioned earlier on.
He didn't write with a green pen, by the way, did he?
Yeah. And then there's like heat hunters, hot heads and heat hunters. So hot heads are the next one up from a chili head. This is just my personal opinion. And then you got heat hunters who do not care about flavour, do not care about what's in it, and they just want pain. Mm-hmm. And they're for me. They're the heat hunters.
So a little sign off in the end. What's next for Niall Screamer Chimp? What's cooking in that brain? Because I know something's cooking in that brain.
I mean, people keep on asking me to do products for them.
Okay.
So it's leaning in that direction. Mm-hmm. And
so you haven't got any new little concoctions you can?
There is always new, but I'm not going to divulge that here.
Spill the bean.
Yeah. So there's already 2 anyway.
Beans.
Then there's, like I say, then there's the two sort of banana-y based things. But there's another one that I'm doing, which I'm going to send off to America, to that channel. But then, like I say, there's people are always asking me to do things. Like even just Dan, he wants 3. He wants another batch of this Caribbean heat by the end of Feb. So like I'm still making the nuts, the peanuts, the nuts, the oil, the mayonnaise. My 2 limited editions each month. The other thing you asked about would be a Bloody Mary with the
drink
with the chimp sauce in it.
Of course, yeah. There's a lot of drinks.
So that's the last.
Things,
So I'd have those 2. Those as my, because that's really one meal, and then that would be my other. I wouldn't bother with a pudding. I wouldn't bother with cheeses because I'd be too full up from that, and I'd just drink and just chill out.
And Indian's quite full, so yeah.
Yeah, and I just have that because like mixology group in Cocktail School in London, they use that at Speciality Food Fair. They use the chimpotle sauce, but they, instead of doing a Bloody Mary with just tomato juice, there was a gazpacho company there, so they started with gazpacho and put chipotle in it, cornichon juice. It's really, really, really tasty, and then tagine over the top, salt, Mexican salt stuff over the top. Went down a storm.
Yeah. Endless.
Are you a Bloody Mary fan?
No.
Are you not?
No.
Neither am I. But that was delicious.
I love them.
Yeah.
That was delicious. I don't like it with normal tomato juice. And I don't like that, Mr. Tomato or Mr. Spice or whatever it is. I can't remember anyway. There's no one out there. Big Tom, that.
Yeah.
I don't really like that. But I really like gazpacho. Yeah. It's a bit thicker. It's got, it's peppers and garlic and other stuff in it as well. So it's got a different flavour to because it's food.
Yeah. I mean, a Bloody Mary is something my dad used to drink. You know what I mean? Like, there's always a tomato juice in the fridge. Like, who's drinking that?
Yeah.
Well, perfect time. That must have been stone cold by the end of there.
Yeah, I don't mind cold coffee.
You don't mind cold coffee?
No.
Right. Well, on that note.
I can't drink cold coffee. It makes me gag.